Hey, everybody, it's the Sith Dominion podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dana Martin, and man, I'm so excited. We have the whole crew here tonight. Cam, Debbie, Zane, how y'all doing? Good to see everyone.
Hi.
Man, what has everyone been up to? Cam, we'll start with you because, you just pop in now. You're like the pop-in guy. What have you been up to? What were you doing last week? You were playing some games, I said, but I didn't go into details. Softball, right?
Yeah, finishing up fall softball league, solid. Think we placed like fifth or something like that. But
Nice.
been trying to play the new Dragon Ball game that's been out. Not playing enough. Just started reading I Jedi. It's
Oh.
been a good, fun little book so far. Very interesting to read a Star Wars book from the first person. It's been a nice change of pace.
Was that the one about Quran Horn?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I love that book.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's good. Deb, did you read that book?
A long time ago.
In
Yes.
the galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. Actually, I am now reading Shatterpoint. I remember trying to read this many moons ago, and I could not get into it. So I decided, well, let's give it another try. It's not too bad so far. I think
Is
I'm almost at
Shatterpoint
the end.
new
Mace
or
Windu.
Legends?
No, that's Legends.
It's Legends.
Although they do have a new Mace Windu book that came out last week.
Hmm.
I think it's called Abyss or something. So I'll need to start that one as soon as I'm done with Shatterpoint.
It's got to be difficult to watch those things occur around you, knowing how powerful you are, yet have to restrain yourself. Like, I do not envy Mace where the position he was in. What is this? What's going on? I didn't even hold up. I didn't even do the Beetlejuice call your name 3 times, Janae. Come on.
I
You do
did.
the yeah?
I did do the tutorial. It's pretty lackluster for a tutorial, I'd say. I mean, I played the Tenkaichi games growing up, so I do have some familiarity, but it has taken. It's been a big learning curve, and the CPUs are quite difficult for story bosses, I will say.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't even know. Like we had this conversation. I don't know, it was last week or in the after hours. But my Dragon Ball Z is. You were just talking, and it felt like I had no idea what you were saying.
I think personally, Dana, I think you would love Dragon Ball Z. I think there are great moments that, as a father, you would appreciate, specifically in the Cell saga and the Majin Buu saga. I think there are great moments in there that would have you feeling like when Kanan dies in Star Wars Rebels.
Man, like I need that. Okay. No, Janae, don't leave.
We need the
Salutations, Josiah.
Salutations.
Salutations. I feel like that's greetings and salutations. What was
Zane, you
that?
kind of sounded like Guilty Spark there. I'm not gonna lie. Can you do that again?
Oh no. No, I'm good.
Christian Slater. Christian Slater was blowing up the school. What was that?
What?
Heathers.
Are you trying to get us kicked off of YouTube, dog?
Oh
Nope.
my gosh.
Christian
What?
Slater-
Talking
It's
about,
Heathers.
Wow.
talking
It's a
about
movie.
schools getting
Heathers.
blown up?
It's a movie. Heathers.
We're in an airport, guys. You can't say that.
When I was in the war, I was a bombardier. Okay. I Jedi. That's good. Oh, and did you just show it? You have it?
Oh yeah, I have it. Here.
Is that the like one from my collection, or did you pick it back up again?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
I mean, it's in good condition. Spine's not.
Nice. Debbie, what else? I mean, you're here every week, so
I know I'm boring.
Everyone knows what we've been doing. No one knows about these two.
I work. Come here. Watch TV.
I'm glad. I'm glad I get these little notes, and I get so excited if I see that Debbie's pinged the TSD chat because it's going to be some good news. I didn't have a lot of good news this last week, but the episode a couple of times ago was like really popular from our experience of what this show has done, and I was all excited. And I didn't get a whole lot of those this week, but certainly, Debbie, thank you for giving
I've
me a
been
little
busy this
burst of hope.
week. It's flu and COVID season, so
Still just jabbing.
yeah, we've been doing flu clinics offsite, and I'm over it.
Mm.
I was over it before it started, so I guess
Is that one of those you know what's coming, and it's like,
yes, and it sucks every freaking year.
Zane, you just got home,
Mm-hmm.
not because of a gig, but because
No.
you were doing your civic duty.
Yes, I was doing my civic duty in my hometown.
So you drove 4+ hours,
3 hours.
3 hours because of how fast you were going. 3 hours. No, okay.
No.
I got you on the tracker. Don't. No, 3 hours just to vote. That's taking your
Dedication.
privilege very seriously. That's awesome. And just PSA, it does. I don't. Honestly, at
go
the
to
end of
the
the day,
polls.
just vote.
Who'd you vote
please,
for, bro?
please.
Let's just take
vote.
the bag.
So
Who'd
I
you
was
vote
thinking
for?
about it, right? And I
That's
didn't
the
check any
November
of the
5th.
normal boxes. I actually checked the one that says like right one here, right? And I actually voted for Palpatine. I just
Oh, not Mickey. Oh,
no.
He's lying,
we want
guys.
Mickey.
He wrote in Ray Palpatine.
Mickey out of the house. I never said which Palpatine. That's all I'll
Mickey
say.
Mouse, Ray Palpatine.
Ray's good at everything. Why could she not be president?
You're totally right. I mean, yeah.
Can
So the
Ray
point of
make
that
eggs
is
not
go out
cost
and vote.
$9?
Early voting in Texas started yesterday. I don't know where it starts where you are. Check your make sure you're registered. I may be too late now. I don't know how that works in Texas, but I always register way in advance. So get registered, vote early. Don't vote often. You only get one vote. Don't be one of those that are
Allegedly.
allegedly.
I'm definitely not sending in
I don't want to
25
get
mail-in
thrown off the
ballots.
air on episode 56 of what hopefully is at least 57. So, we got
Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer.
no. If Ray can weird a lightsaber, no training. The weirded way, I think you're mixing up Dune and Star Wars.
If Ray can wield a lightsaber with no
Oh, not the weirded
can
way. Gotcha.
wield the big red button, I think.
So outside of casting your votes, what you had a couple gigs, yeah, and recording.
Yeah, that's.
Oh
my
my
life.
God! Oh, the bat. Can we please tell the bat story? Okay, well, hold up. Can I start because
No,
I get this text like it was good. The recording, because like how was the recording? It was great. Blah blah blah. Except for the bat, but yeah, everything's cool. And I'm like, the bat. Okay, go.
Okay, so basically, this studio has one door to go out. Well, there's two. There's one that leads directly outside to a little big staircase going down. And then there's the normal hallway to go down to the entrance of the building. There's only one of these hallways. The main studio room has two hallways that go around and connect to this one hallway, blah, 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 blah. No one cares about that. Just know that there's one hallway to go to the bathroom, to leave, any of that. So I'm going to the bathroom. I was about to record, so I go to the bathroom, right? And as I'm heading to this door to open it, like a bat flies like across my hat and flies into the closet next to me. So I've been attacked by a bat once already, right? This is once. I go to the bathroom. I'm freaked out. I get out, right? I go down. I go back into the studio. I'm like, I swear if he's still here. I open the door. I try to run past the closet, and lo and behold, I get smacked in the head again by a bat. By this point, I'm done.
Oh,
Ozzy Osbourne in self-defense. At this point, so I go into the actual like studio where all the mixer boards are, right? And I'm like, guys, there's a bat. They're like, you're joking. You're joking. We spend the next 15 minutes looking for this bat and find nothing. Then they get one step too close. That's it. That's it. The bat it flew, but it didn't fly towards us. It flew into the mixer room, right? Basically headfirst at one of the sound engineers, and then through one of the doors, right? Because we were gonna it was over here, and we were gonna go over here, right? So we were gonna back up into the mixer room so that we didn't get attacked by the bat that we thought was in the hallway. Lo and behold, I get attacked by the bat one more time. I turn to go into the mixer room, and there comes a bat like full force towards my head. So I'm able to turn, but it hits my bill of my hat. I never ran so fast. We walked to the hallway and then wrote on a piece of paper that said, "Don't open. There's a bat." And
so
then
you left the bat in the
day.
hallway.
It was gone the next day. So
You left it in there for someone else to find.
oh, we warned them.
We put a sign up.
What do you want me to do?
Oh my god.
I'm just there to record.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the moral of the story.
I'm not
I don't know.
Batman.
What's wrong with bats? They're disgusting creatures. They're mice with wings.
Worse than Ewoks?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Bats are kind of cute.
No, bats are
whenever they're
actually
not
pretty cool.
coming full force at your body.
They're kind of gross, man. I don't know. It'll freak me out.
Zane is not Batman.
I am not Batman. This is not the canon event. It was not the canon event.
just squealing. All right. Any news? Any news? Did I put any news? I thought I put something.
I'm hearing talks about a new Star Wars show.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know.
No.
It's gonna be season 2. I'm hopping off.
Oh, I'd be so excited.
Don't you love this show, Prep? I've been busy at work. My apologies.
They're bringing back Yoda and Mace Windu for a new series, supposedly.
Yeah. What is that?
Dear God.
Are you sure that's real?
Might be a comic book series. It's still Star
Yeah.
Wars.
It's a comic book series. Yes. Not a
I never
movie,
said
not a film.
TV series. I never said TV series.
Yes, comic book series. I don't have the link. I don't have a source, but I do recall.
According to GamingBible.com,
Fake
an
news.
article
Fake
written
news.
by Sam Colley. It's spelled Sam Sam Colley Cawley.
I see.
The first
All right.
issue will be going on sale March 2025. Star Wars Jedi Knights.
Oh, I did see some gameplay, thorough. Now we've had the game for a while. Reviews of Star Wars Outlaw.
Star Wars Outlaws.
And
It's still Dookie. It's still Dookie.
They were doing graphics side by side, and it's basically a crappier graphic version of Jedi Survivor. Like,
Great work, Ubisoft. Dog shit company.
terrible.
They
So-
delayed that Assassin's Creed game they're coming out with too because they're scared to release it for other politically correct reasons.
Release it right around Christmas. Everyone will buy it, even though it's crap.
They were supposed to, and then they still delayed it.
I don't know. Most PC gamers are cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
They'll wait the year.
Yeah, for real. If you're gonna pay $70, $80 for no physical copy, and you're literally just paying for a license to play the game, you don't actually own it. It's like, why would I spend $80 on launch when I can wait 6 months? The game's probably going to be in better shape, and I can pay a third of the price.
Yeah, I still have my media for World of Warcraft, like original in box, like this World of Warcraft DVDs. I've got the Empire at War, Star Wars Empire at War, that RTS.
There's Switor
Um,
somewhere. I think.
Sutor, I've got. Yep.
Yeah.
Also in box, I've got. Shoot. Oh, Guild Wars. Do you remember that one? Guild Wars. I played a lot of that. So yeah, I think now that we aren't allowed to own anything, I think people are more apt to just wait if they can't. I'll just wait.
It's even sad. Even if you get like a physical disc, you still have to download it. You can't even just like
So
if
yeah.
even if you own a console, like you don't even. Well, even if you have the physical copy of the disc, they can still take it away from you. I mean, it's
But
like
isn't the disc like a key at that point? It's not even
Pretty much, that's all
Yeah.
it is.
and
It's your
like I
guild.
mean, it's just sad, man. Like it's really sad.
Yeah, agreed.
And the
not on
games are
this-
infinitely not as fun, not as creative as they once were even 10 years ago.
Yeah, do you think all the ideas are done?
No, I think much like with cinema, I just don't think there's creative people in studios anymore. There's closeted activists.
No, I 100% agree. When there were reports of Overwatch team Blizzard making a Overwatch mobile game, which is what everyone asked for. This is after the Diablo mobile game fiasco.
Debacle. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like who's really in charge? Like are you even listening? You've had this entire cast of people beg on their knees for a PvE experience. And this is years, like we're talking since the game released, and we're getting little bits, and then finally they're like, we're gonna start doing it. You gotta pay $15 for the first couple missions though, and then they never touched it.
I think that would be fantastic, and that was one of the draws for me to Switor, was that you could solo 60%, 65% of the game. You really did need your other folks to survive. And if the more people you got, yes, there was a slider. The difficulty moved up the more people you had. We got that. We know. But that doesn't mean that still wasn't awesome and that you could be successful by getting a squad together and getting, so in this case, a Lucio and a Ryan and a whatever, just some dudes go do some co-op stuff, right? And just roll through. I mean, I don't know. I think we had a blast. What was that? Halo? I don't know. It was a Call of Duty where they had the infection. Or was that Halo?
I had zombies, but I think Halo had the infection with the flood.
Maybe that's what it was.
But then we played
Yeah.
COD Ghosts a lot.
We
that
did
had
play the Ghost one.
Jackson,
Yeah.
which was the alien one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was the alien one. So,
Very
anyways,
fun game.
point is, working together and doing those co-op things. It's fun to do stuff solo, but it's funner to do those things with others. So I don't know.
But notice how we're not talking about mobile games because we don't need them.
No, and you and I have tried to play some mobile games that were multiplayer. We did the Rocket League one.
It was fun for a while, but it's more fun when you play with friends. Yeah.
I played the Hunters, Star Wars Hunters one.
I played
for a
that
little
for a
while.
bit.
Did you guys play any Star Wars mobile? Well, I played the Go. The Galaxy Heroes. I still play that every single day.
The only mobile game I play is
Candy
Pokemon
Crush.
Go, and it's
Bejeweled.
unfortunate what
Bejeweled.
Niantic has failed to do with something that should be the biggest mobile game ever.
Well, and you already had the foundation with what was the name of that game? I even played it before Pokemon Go, but it just
Is it the zombie
like
one?
overlaid the game that was already existing by Niantic.
I don't know.
Yeah, I used to play that. That was fun. So when Pokemon Go was like, hey, we're making it, and essentially all of those towers are going to be Pokemon stops and this and that. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I already had my home, was a stop for the other thing. Like it was awesome.
It was.
It's literally the same game as it was 8 years ago. Like
exactly.
There's no significant changes to it, like at all.
Debbie, what do you play on your phone? You've got to play like something
I don't play anything.
on your phone at all. No Sudoku,
Nope.
nothing.
Hmm.
Wow.
Sounds like
Chewy's
a bunch
locked
of
in.
people who wouldn't play mobile games.
Look. By the time she's stabbed 85,000 people in a day, she's tired. She doesn't need to be. Not
And I
85,000.
did watch some guy on TikTok playing. What was he playing?
Minecraft.
Oh no, he was playing A Quiet Place, and it was hilarious.
Oh, that's right. The game released recently.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
They have a
it was
game?
hilarious because the
Yeah.
microphone picks up everything,
Oh.
and it affects the game because the creatures can hear you
Oh no.
breathe or whatever. I mean, the guy was sitting.
Talk about immersion.
As much as my dog breaks wind, she cannot be in here while we're trying to play that game. I get killed because my dog's farting. I can't.
Your dog. Yeah.
Ugh, stupid dog. Awesome. All right, let's jump into this. So, to set the stage here, Cameron said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool? Do you guys know about this?" And it was alternate script to episode 9. It was called Duel of the Fates, and an alternate story with the same cast of characters, picking up where left off mostly. And Cam got the script to us. I think we read through most of it, or most of us read through most of it. Did some synopsis stuff on it, and I have to say, I probably could have had a much better taste in my mouth after this if this was the movie.
I think it would have made the sequels a little bit more memorable for, not a perfect trilogy by any means, but something that at least the movies kind of flow to a, certain, they flow a little bit better than what we have.
Yeah. Not saying that we wouldn't find problems with it.
No,
'cause there are a few
there's problems.
There's
problems.
definitely problems. But I mean, I love what it's trying to go for, and I think that honestly, it is a way better idea than bringing back Palpatine. No matter how much I can defend that movie, it's still, I don't know.
Debbie, did you get a chance to read through any of that?
Not the script, but I read the comics. It was all right. I wrote down what I liked and then what I didn't like.
Cool. We'll
all right.
We'll be walking through that. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I would have had a bad taste in my mouth after that. It was, I think, certainly better. I'm with you guys, but not without flaws. And that's hard to do with what you're trying to write for, I think.
Well, there's a lot of describing how characters are feeling in the script that I think are pretty cringe, especially the Hux line before he offs himself. I don't know if people have got to that part.
Yeah.
I think there's some cringe things there, but
I don't like that.
I like the political themes that Colin Trevorrow was trying to do. I like the risk he was willing to take with characters. One of the things I'm sure we'll get into is the Poe and Rey romance, which I would not have liked at all. I think it would have.
No.
I think it would have been fun to see Kylo's journey. I think that was really interesting for me, and I think it would have been memorable, man. It would have been we had the last shit show that we got for episode 8, but at least this movie took that, didn't try to really retcon anything. It kind of took where all those characters were at and built on it and took some risk, and Rey took damage even though it gets retconned, but it probably would have been the best of the 3. I don't know if that's saying a whole lot, but I think it took risk, which after episode 8 is interesting.
In episode 9 that we got, did we see all the cast of characters on screen at once? And I'm talking the main chunk of them: Rey, Finn, Poe.
Rose was.
I think we saw them on the planet before, like when Chewie got taken. When like they pick her up, so they're there for a little bit, right? Together,
Yeah.
all of them. They were in this one together a little bit more. I felt, and it could have just been whatever, but it had to me more of a feel of yeah, I'm gonna go off and have this epiphany experience ish, like Kylo's journey. Like you said,
Ray has a journey too.
sure.
I think we get to see good insights into, she's. I think she feels more, at least in what I've read in the script and reviews I've watched, she seems way more grounded in this and realizing, like, since Luke passed, like it is just her, and I think she kind of feels the weight of the responsibility, like, oh, Luke Skywalker's not going to come save the day or anything.
Save the
It's like I am the final hope of the Resistance. Do I want to be that? Can I be that? Like, I think it really adds a lot more depth to her character, and the fact that she is a nobody. Like, she's not just a offspring of a famous last name in Star
Yeah.
Wars. Like, she's just Rey Solana, I think is what they call her. I think it adds a lot more depth to her character, and I think Daisy Ridley would have killed it.
So, we're touching on a bunch of tiny things that maybe the listeners are like, "What the fuck?" So let's start with some background on this piece, right? So, I knew of a script, but I didn't know to the extent. Was it just a treatment? Was it a full script? Like what was this? But I had heard of it, and when Cam was like, "Dude, straight up script here, we'll send it," I lost my mind. I was like, "What?" And so I really thoroughly enjoyed just reading a script that was Star Wars based. I did not know or see. Yes, Debbie mentioned about the comic. They do have how
7 comics.
7, yeah. So it's a little bit longer series or piece for that, and then there's the same writers in this episode wrote for what we got for episode. Both of them, yeah, both of them wrote episode 9 that we got too. Correct?
Colin Trevorrow and them?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. J.J. Abrams and who's the guy that wrote with Zack Snyder? I think. What's his name?
Hold on.
I'm looking it up.
I'm looking something else up.
Screenplay was by Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams. It says story by Derek Connolly and Colin Trevorrow.
Maybe that's what I had seen.
I mean, they took some elements
Yeah, they got story credit, it says.
Yeah,
Okay.
they took some elements from the original script.
So, where did this script existed first?
Yes, sir. It was written before The Last Jedi even released, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing research, apparently they were at some, I think, a Last Jedi after party or something of the sort, or some type of meeting, and Daisy asked where Rey ends up, and Colin Trevorrow pulls her off and kind of gives her a rough outline, and apparently she cried or something like that and was very moved by the script, but it was said that Kathleen Kennedy clearly did not feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Everything I'm reading says that Kathleen Kennedy just did not like it and kept butting heads with him until he got kicked off the project.
I think it was partly because of how the other film was received. I think that is the main reason we didn't get this.
So there's a little bit of history. It's a good script. You can find it out on the interwebs.
True
It's around. There's also a lot. There are YouTube clips of scenes from this as well. I had
A lot
run
of
into
story art. Really
a
cool.
lot of story. That was work. I'm not getting it. Lot of story. You know what? One of the things about this film, if it had been made, one of the things about this script, um, I felt a more sense of not completion, but closure at the end of this, where I did not feel still closure at the end of Rise of Skywalker. So I think holistically, when I step back and kind of look through it all, that's probably my overarching feeling is I didn't get the closure I still thought I needed until I read this, and I wished that it would have closed out. Rose has a bigger part. Rose Tico has a
A
bigger
lot
part.
bigger part.
I again, we've talked about they did her character wrong. I would have loved to see. We all would have loved to see Finn and her. If you're gonna have them kiss with the whatever in the background there, the explosion, then why don't you do something about that and let that show up on screen later? Anyways, so that's a little of the past on this script. Look around on YouTube, you'll find this information out there, these fan art and stuff. There's also storyboard stuff we showed last week on the show that was concept art for this. So yeah, I'm gonna work on pulling this up. While I'm pulling up that artwork that you had sent us before, let's talk about the kind of first, say, third of this script. When we've got our characters that we know are out. The First Order has taken over to the point where if you speak out, it's 100% fascist. Like if you say anything, you're dead. Just plain and simple. There is no difference of opinion of anything. And we don't see that in what we got before. I think it was more implied, but
You see this.
See it in this. Yeah, talk about that, Cam.
They chop some dude's head off with like a saber guillotine or something. I think.
Yes, a laser guillotine. Yes,
like that. Like that's pretty sick. I feel like Hux in the story has a very Hitler-esque storyline with how he's portrayed in the script and his end, which I think is interesting. But I think it would have been cool to see it with the way they kind of describe it in the script. It feels a little bit more intimidating than the Empire with how they treat people that speak out. I think it would have been cool to see that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Empire was vocal about you being vocal and get roughed up a little bit, but nothing to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we even saw that though in Force Awakens with Hux and his very Nazi-ish speech to the First Order troops. Totally see that propaganda stuff too within this film. You were talking about the politics creeping in. What did you mean by that? And I don't want you to have to take it all over. You guys interject too. I know that you really have read a lot about this. So
yeah, I think just the political undertones of Hux's story is the main part, and then I think just truly what like a fascist quote unquote regime is like, and where kind of the rebellion fits in that, and what it means to, because the resistance in the sequels always felt really small to me, and I think this story makes it seem like it really is just like a very small ragtag group of people that are trying to fight this regime that has risen up somehow, and I think it would have been cool to see it rise up. But I think it takes a lot of risk with the political undertones in this script that we don't really see a lot of. It's there in George's movies, but I feel like in this it's way more like the average person would be able to kind of grasp those kind of undertones in the film.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Zane, what do you think? You just got through voting. I mean, here I know we're talking about Star Wars, but there's always been a huge. I mean, it's the whole reason that you have an empire instead of a republic now. Why? So politics is a huge part of Star Wars. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you're a young lad voting in your first presidential election.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one of the best parts about the prequels, was it really showed the political side of the Senate and everything, and how that really was how it was taken over. It wasn't taken over just by brute force; it was taken over by politics. And I mean, that's something that we really didn't get to see a lot of in the sequels. It just felt like happy-go-lucky, but it just felt like a shoot 'em up with laser swords. You know, that's all it kind of felt like. I felt like they were just trying to have it be an action movie. You know, and I think Star Wars really is not an action sci-fi movie. It's so
you put a sock in it. It is a
so much
space western. It is an action flick. Absolutely.
But you need to have those politics for it to be Star Wars. You can't without it.
I would agree.
Even Star Trek has politics in it.
So, who has watched any spaghetti western? In every single one, there's politics. There's the sheriff. There's the judge. There's this and the council, and the mayor is in on the shit too. And so yes, George, perfect space western. No, he's with it. Give me the action. Give it all. Sorry, I'm not trying to go over on your point. I'm just like think of it from that way too. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm just it's almost like doing what you did. It's looking at like a spaghetti western, but then comparing it to Predator, in which I thought Predator really just felt like an action movie, and that was it. You know,
that was a juicy one too.
I am well known for not being a fan of the Predator movies. I think they're really overrated. But I mean, there isn't politics. It's just action. You know, that's all it is, and that's what the sequels felt like. You know, it didn't really have the meat that makes Star Wars so just enjoyable.
Yeah. Debbie, politics. Do you feel that too, or do you see that too, or is it more in this than that? I mean, how do you feel about it?
I don't like politics.
No one does.
Like episode 1, there's just too much of it. Kind of the same way with the book Plagueis. I like the book, but man, there was just so much politics in it. I was like, skip.
There's a lot of it too, isn't there? You've read a lot of those books in the when Leia is Chancellor and in the expanded universe, and all those God, it's just this never-ending.
Skip.
So here's a question that I started thinking of while reading this script. I mean, she's talking about, in the end, we'll skip ahead just for this piece. I don't want to give anything away, but our heroes win, sort of. So Rey ends up starting the new Jedi Order, right? And everybody's kind of happy-ish, whatever. I started thinking about, okay, well, what was ruling the planets outside of the forceful rule of the First Order? We had the Republic, right? And when the First Order rose up in the ashes of the Empire, as they told us in the first movie, in Force Awakens, that to me alludes to they never really went away. And how is it that they were able to amass a fleet the size of whatever and take over the entire galaxy like that fast? Does it ever say how they went from the ragtag group of Imperial remnant that was left to get to the First Order? Do we ever get that in a
In this,
book? Anything?
I don't know. Nothing.
I feel
nothing
like
that
we're
I've read.
missing very important politics of this that would explain why Leia is now a general in this ragtag tiny group of resistant fighters. Sorry, I'm getting back to this. This is what made me think of it. Is where how did she even get to, how did we even get to be General Organa? And does anyone know? Are you Googling
Because
that? Because
the politicians wouldn't listen to her. So she quit politics. She quit being a senator or whatever she was at that time and went off to start or, lead the resistance because, yeah, the Senate was not doing anything and they didn't believe, oh, no, they're gone, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you got the Imperials out in the Outer Rim creating their fleet.
are they going to try to merge all this together with Thrawn and the Dead Fleet for like bridging the gap into the First Order? Do you think they're going to try to do that?
I'm hoping. I mean, it
You're
was.
hoping?
We need to come to we need something. And reading up on all this, I
Right
mean,
now.
it was started. First Order was started by Brendel Hux. I'm
The
pretty sure
Nepo
that's
baby's daddy?
yeah. But he was part of an imperialist remnant group, so it would only make sense that this story with Thrawn ends with the imperialists hiding away and creating that First Order, or maybe the First Order winning. I don't know about that though.
So with this script, is there any chance anyone else can, I know there's always a chance. Oh, I mean that we would get any more of the same old shit afterwards, or do you feel like it closed out pretty well?
I mean, as far as the Empire?
Yeah. Another recycled Empire story.
Well, see,
Now the
that's
First Order.
the way history runs. People don't learn from it.
Mhm.
Therefore, it keeps repeating itself.
Which is why I didn't like the Vong War, because it was 80 books. But why I liked the Vong War, because it was something totally
Something
fresh
different.
and new and yes, different. And it wasn't the First Order will shoot planets and destroy them once more. Like, it's not the same shit. It's something new and different and fresh. Like Cam says all the time, they're out of ideas. They're just recycling shit.
No, they're not creative enough to make something like the Vong War. They're not. They don't have enough to. They don't have the right people to do something interesting like that, to make it creative, to make it different. They want what's worked in the past, let's do that again, but there's no heart in it anymore. There's no creativity. There's no creatives that are behind that anymore. And while, I mean, books, you have the benefit of what's the villain really thinking about, where you really get inside like a character in a book, right? Whereas in a movie, it's a lot harder to portray that, but they don't, there's no creatives anymore, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably some, they're just not
Is this-
working for the big companies anymore.
Is this where we blame leadership again on why that creativity, such as what we saw in this script, was kind of shut down.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Trevorrow wanted to take chances,
Make mistakes.
and he kind of, I mean, he showed love to legacy characters like Luke, and even with Carrie Fisher's passing, I mean, Leia could easily be written out of this script, and but also showed a lot of depth, creativity, and love to the new characters. Made them a lot more interesting, minus that horrific Poe and Rey romance they were trying to
Yeah, that was
shove.
weird.
Sorry, Debbie. Sorry. But yeah, but they win the damage control, man. I mean, that's why I think Solo failed. That's why I think Star Wars as a whole is outside of Mandalorian season 1 has failed, because they're playing it safe.
Yeah. Give me a second here.
Dr. Dana joined.
He's joined.
He's joined. Oh, and it's gone.
Dr.
What
Dana
happened?
joined.
What just happened?
It got turned off.
Kathleen's at your PC, brother.
Dude,
Gosh.
we were trying to watch. What were we trying to watch?
The rest of Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, the rest of Rise of Skywalker.
Why would you want
last
to do
week.
that?
We watched
pretty-
it.
it's a
while
pretty decent
we
movie.
streamed it in After Dark.
It
and I
wasn't even that
couldn't
bad.
Yeah, it was actually. We had fun. We had fun with it.
Exactly.
And it was cool because by the time it ended, it was just Zane, Madison, Harris Corriban. Thank you.
think I'd
And myself.
rather
So it was
watch
like
paint
me and my
dry.
kid watching Star Wars. It was awesome.
I think we ended up playing Overwatch.
Yes,
By the
we
way,
did.
Overwatch.
Okay.
Much more enjoyable experience than watching that movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. So we discussed that the First Order is literally destroying people for having thought. And if you haven't seen the movie Equilibrium, you should watch that movie because we are absolutely heading that way. The United States. The Kuat mission. For those of you that don't know, the Kuat, the drive yards, that's where a lot of ships were built. The big starships were built in the Kuat drive yards that orbited Kuat. So there's this big I don't know what another weapon type thing, right? No. The first God, I wish they would make this a movie. I'd remember it better. But yeah, dun dun dun. Rey, disguised as a Tusken Raider, arrives with a new double lightsaber. Okay, how cool would that have been?
Absolutely
okay with that?
sick. Absolutely sick, brother. Would have been so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, her disguise as a Tusken Raider would make 0 sense to me. Because
agree.
Tusken Raiders are only on Tatooine. When did she go to Tatooine?
Would be
Exactly.
In the book, but between these
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and or
a-
comic.
Okay, here we go. Dana, you got more to read. I ain't got time, all right? That's why I have 4 people on this show. Rey's inner conflict, more powerful vision of her, with the Kylo Ren, the dyad and the Force and all these weird things. I don't think Luke, and this is one of the things I think was a little bit different. Luke really willingly took on that quote unquote burden of being the hope of the rebellion. I don't know that. I mean, she's apprehensive about it, but what we see, I don't know. What do you guys think? When we see Cam, I thought you had a triple header tonight.
No, sir. I'm done.
He's done. He's done.
I'm locked in.
Yeah. So, do you feel that would have been something she would have felt? The resistance to helping. I mean, basically, the first 2 movies is her, learning that the Force is real, becoming a Jedi, or on her path to Jedi. That everything that happened with Han Solo and Chewie and all that stuff, that was all real. And now she wants to not help. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's not that she doesn't want to help. I think she has the opposite of what Luke has in the OT. I think Luke thinks he is this hero, but I mean, clearly we see that he's not ready yet. But I mean, by this point, we would kind of assume with how they're showing us how Rey is, like she has some capability to be the hero that the Resistance needs, but the fact that her quote unquote master is gone, right? And she wasn't really able to really train with him. But they think like, oh, she moved the rocks at the end of the movie, you know, she trained with Luke and all this stuff, like, and she walked off whatever ship that was after her confrontation with Kylo. Like, she is strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why could she not be our final hope? But I mean, I think it's the opposite. We don't see Luke in 4 and 5 thinks he's the hero, but he's not until the 6th film. I think it's kind of flipped, which I think is interesting.
And would you say that he's the hero for not the reason he thought he'd be the hero?
Exactly.
Which is what makes him the fucking hero.
Exactly.
Profound. Spitting out here, Cam.
Love it.
There were some things you had mentioned, or we talked about a little while ago that do make their way in there, sort of, to the movie. And I think this is one of them, that Kylo Ren's quest. He was at Vader's castle on Mustafar. He goes to seek Tor Valum, which is a ancient Sith master that Palpatine had imbued a message into that holocron, sending him that way. Yeah, his face gets all jacked up, which is cool, and I think it goes along the lines of all of the Skywalker boys, because Luke even got scars from the car wreck he was in during filming. But they actually, from the Wampa attack, he had scars on his face from that. We know that Anakin had scars on his face, and then also crispy face. And then now here you have this too. And we knew that he got the scar from Rey as well. And I think that's a cool little thing that's often overlooked. There's definitely a sacrifice to be had by the Skywalkers, plural. And it's a burden. It's not glorious. Luke Skywalker's life wasn't glorious. Anakin's life wasn't glorious. Kylo Ren's life, in the end, wasn't glorious. Man, sorry, I went a little crazy there. Debbie, this piece, I know that you and I talked a little bit about Kylo in the last show. A lot of bit about Kylo, and his dad. How does this differ from what I mean, I know we get a little bit later in this with Kylo, but I mean, at this point, do you find this believable that this would be characteristic of Kylo Ren to continue to seek that power of his grandpa and go look for this other Sith master?
Oh yeah. I mean, even in this script, he still ends up killing his dad, so that didn't change.
I guess I'm curious about going to I mean, he killed Snoke, right? And by killing Snoke, did he not feel that maybe that was all he had to learn? Because he even tells, what's his name in Rise of Skywalker? He tells Palpatine, "I'll kill you," or so. I don't know, man. Like I guess maybe I need to reword my question. Do you feel that that's different than the Kylo Ren we get in Episode 8? What we see here, or no? Same guy.
I think it follows the progression more. I mean, we already saw that he was having conflict, yes, but he was also very agitated by the end of The Last Jedi, especially with that last fight scene. Like he really was beginning to get power hungry, and I think that this story really follows it a lot better than him just going to a new master and just doing their bidding instead of him going out looking for a new power.
You think he got that, Debbie? You think he got that streak from his daddy of not wanting to be told what to do and have a boss like a Sith master? Because I mean, Han didn't exactly like.
Yeah, he
authority.
didn't like being told what to do either. So yeah, I think he inherited that little trait from Han.
Totally. Yeah, I don't know. I know that finding Exegol in the other movie, that was his drive. And what was his drive here at Vader's castle? I mean, was it to find the route to Exegol? No. Was it to find a deeper power? Well, he got that, and a more contorted face for sure. I don't know. I think this first they kind of wrapped it all up and packaged this first chunk, and just kind of piecemealed some of the stuff we got to see in the beginning of the movie. Would you guys agree?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
But they have no content, and this was a perfect good content. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, the thing out of the second kind of chunk of this, Knights of Ren. We talked about this last week. Why in the hell haven't we gotten more information on the Knights of Ren? Who are the Knights of Ren? What are the Knights of Ren? Who is Hataska Ren? What Admiral? What? Like all of this stuff is so good. You need to read. Hey, is there a link to it and not a download? Do you think we could find a link to it somewhere online? I just don't want to put it on our website and we get shut down for something. Anyone?
I mean, I have the link to the comics.
That'll still work. We'll put something.
It's on Scribd. I have
Scribd?
it. Here.
We'll put something in the description, and by we I mean Debbie. We'll put something in the description with the link to that. So we get a little bit more involvement of the Knights of Ren. We get yes, they capture a big, huge destroyer. Finn's personal struggle. This is where I would have liked to see this because of what they did with Finn's character and what kind of snapped him out of even wanting to be a part of the First Order or realizing there's something more to it. To have this call back to that is what I think is happening, right? We're seeing that side of Finn that was awoken in The Force Awakens. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Running into one of his buddies from training.
Isn't there like a deleted scene with that?
A deleted scene?
Is it not deleted?
Do they have a deleted scene for that?
It's something very like small. Like he's like in an elevator, dressed as an officer, and one of the stormtroopers recognizes him.
I think you're right.
But I don't know if that was a deleted scene or that was in the movie. I think it was a deleted scene. But
I haven't seen the movie in a while.
That first one where they yelled at him, traitor.
Yeah, well, and none of them even like recognized that he was a traitor. So, but I mean, they called to it technically, then they didn't even use it. So,
well, the point here really is Finn, right? Getting to have more character development in a character that I think all four of. I'm looking at three people. Forgetting that I'm a part of this too. Sometimes
you're a people.
I'm a
brother.
Brother.
It has been a couple weeks. Way to go! I just lost train of thought. Anyways, moving along. The Tor Valum piece. I really caught vibes of the Bendu from what's it called? Rebels.
Mhm.
Just that it was kind of more a mystical being. Bendu was more of a tightrope walker, but here we have full on dark side Sith, ancient Sith.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was reading up a lot about him, and it seems like, however they were doing this, Vellum trained Plagueis, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And specifically this one sentence that I'm finding says that Vallum possibly felt ashamed or dissatisfied of Plagueis at the end of his trading, as he would later state that such name meant nothing for him.
He was not impressed with Kylo.
I was gonna say, I think that this character might have done a lot to the past of Star Wars that is kind of, I don't want to say decanonizes, because technically all that stuff's not canon, but just I think it would start poking holes in things that we don't want to mess with.
Maybe there's stuff with this character that could be discovered that was happening simultaneously in tandem with some of the other things that were occurring in the past, and then they wouldn't have to rewrite. I got you. I don't know. What did you guys think of this character? I like this character just from a sage wisdomy or freaking kill everybody. No. What did you guys think of him?
I think it would have been interesting. I kind of agree with Zane on a lot of points. I kind of would prefer seeing like a Sith Bendu style, maybe not having direct ties to a famous character that's canon / not canon, but kind of like,
It'd be cool if it was like a hologram, or not hologram, like a Force ghost,
yeah, or
like a holocron.
something like that, to where like the holocrons don't feel like MacGuffins. They actually feel like little pieces of knowledge that people can learn from. I think that would have been interesting, but how he fits in the overall story would, I still think the character as a whole is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Consuming life to achieve ultimate power. Callback to Nihilus, I think.
Kind
Yeah.
of the exact opposite of what his grandfather wanted to do. His grandfather wanted to save life, but Kylo thinks he has to consume it to achieve his power.
Which I never bought. I never bought that, man. I don't know why. Never felt that made sense to me.
I love how this movie in particular is unapologetic about trying to connect to the prequels, whereas what we have feels like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little tidbits of Coruscant, Hux, and his wanting to study the Jedi and be a Jedi, even though he's not, and just the overall ties to the prequels is cool for somebody that grew up with them.
Yeah.
I will say it is also really cool that a lot of this with Kylo Ren, he felt more like a villain who was a villain, more than just a very complex character like a lot of people are, or a lot of characters are nowadays. He just felt a lot more like a bad guy in a good way. Kind of like how Palpatine really didn't have a motive for being bad. He just was a bad guy.
Yeah, I think Kylo goes all in. Right? He pushes all the chips in. He's like, F it, let's go. And I think in what we saw for Kylo, I think he had the hots for Rey, and I think that was driving some of his decision making in Rise of Skywalker.
Gross.
Gross cooties.
They're like brother and sister.
Gross.
They
They're
were
like
dyad
cousins.
in the Force.
They're
Hey,
like
baby,
cousins,
wanna get
technically.
dyad? I just don't. I don't know.
Sweet home Alabama.
I don't know. I do think one of the cool pieces of this is Mortis being brought into it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So before Debbie punches out because it's after 9, what are your thoughts about the Mortis stuff, Debbie? Do you like it? Hate it?
It was all right. I didn't really have problem with it outside of the fact that they knew how to get there because
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and them, I mean, they just kind of came upon it accidentally.
Stumbled into it, sure.
Yeah. So I didn't care for that. I didn't care that they were on mortars. I just didn't care for the way they got there.
Mhm.
I know, just little piddly bit shit, but
No worries. Look, so and there was another piece here that I thought was kind of a callback to I can't kill my father. Right? Luke literally at one point was reluctant, and he did say, I can't do this. Obi-Wan, I can't kill Anakin. Don't go yourself, send someone else. I can't do it. Even the greatest Jedi, when they are confronted with something that they know they need to do, but the compassion in their heart is so great, they just don't feel they can do it. And I did like that about this, where they show Rey saying, no, I can't. And we see, I think, some of that in Rise of Skywalker. She was very defensive in that fight on whatever that was, where you have Finn yelling Rey 8 times, Rey, Rey. Just she can't hear you. There's waves and
She's got her
storms.
AirPods in.
Cringe.
Yeah, that was pretty cringy.
R.I.P. Finn.
Anyhow, point is, yeah, you have Mortis, which is got a lot of stuff surrounding it lately. We have, and this was this was after. Yeah, it was. This was after the Clone Wars, because this was 29. No, what year was
After
it?
the last season, it
15?
should be after the Clone Wars.
This was after the last season of Clone Wars, where we had the Mortis stuff, right?
Because yeah, that came out when I was still in high school.
God,
It's
I'm
like
old.
season 3 or season 4 of Clone Wars, I think.
Oh, Mortis was like, not early, but
I see.
yeah.
So Kylo Ren ends up getting all, crazy,
He's
which is what
boosted.
happens kind of ultimately, right? We know that the dark side taints and causes corruption, not just within, but even on the outside. And we see that like in real life when people like start turning into jerks. You can see that. All right. So there's a big battle, of course, because it's Star Wars, and that feels very Star Warsy, and I'm fine with that. And you have this final duel between Rey and Kylo Ren. The Resistance, with their new hijacked Star Destroyer, come, and here we go. We're going in for the big battle.
Could you say that this almost like this is very similar to Return of the Jedi?
It is very similar.
Your Jedi who saves the day every time is now not there, right? And it's really the people versus the people, and the
Except,
Sith.
so yeah, it's the people versus the people until the Jedi and Sith are engaged, and then when they're engaged, it's causing death and destruction to everybody else. And I love that you point that out, that it's when Rey and Palpatine are fighting, it's just those folks up there fighting each other. But it's not, because the whole reason that they're there is because Rey and him are fighting, right? And then you've got just normal people throwing their hat in the ring, trying to do something good. All the while, it's those two leaders that are duking it out, and everyone else has to suffer. I know for a fact Lucas is very much on that side of the house, based on his writing and his movies, and we do see that in Rise of Skywalker, and we see it some here too. And I think that's a very Star Warsy thing. That while we believe our actions are important, and they are, others may have more influence on a larger scale on what's happening to us. However, there's always the part of balance that plays into this equation, right? So what if it's, all these star destroyers against this ragtag group of just people? Hope goes a long way, and morale goes a long way. And when you have, sorry, I'm kind of going off here, but when you have those two most powerful people fighting each other, ultimately it's everyone else that loses their life up there. And I think that's a good lesson that we always need to circle back to. You were talking about repeating history, right? I mean, we're in the middle of it now, aren't we? Oh wait, I just did a Lando line. Sure, in the middle of it. Yeah, sorry, man, that took me on a way. So the end of this movie. Let's just move on here. Rose's sacrifice. What?
Man, they build up a character and then they just don't
dude,
touch
but
it.
that, you know what though? Oh, I would have been like, if this was the Rose we got, I'd been like,
Fine.
can you do a side book or a comic for her? Just a graphic novel. That's fine. I got to see a little more.
It would have made
Ray's
Last
journey-
Jedi a lot better.
What?
It would have made Last Jedi a lot better. A lot more
Maybe.
tolerable.
But she
Ray's
doesn't die
journey-
in this.
What was that?
She doesn't die in this.
Rose?
Yeah. She escapes in the escape pod.
She has a pod. Did I miss it? Did she land? Like, I don't think I ever saw. I must have missed that somehow.
I'm just going by. I'm pretty sure that's what the comics, because I think they all.
Do they have a moment at the end? Dun, dun,
I
dun,
think so.
dun. Stupid Ewok.
Yeah, because Rose gets a medal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. Rey ends up on the astral plane. After the final battle, she's in the mystical realm. She talks to fallen Jedi that we all know, Luke, Obi-Wan, and Yoda. They tell her, good job. Here's the gold star. You were able to walk the line. And I say walk the line. The one line that we talk about on this show, every other show. That line between light and dark, but understanding that you got to be leaning to the light to have balance. And Rey was that.
Not having the chosen one in the astral plane's kind of wild for me. Not gonna lie to you.
What was that?
Not having the chosen one in the astral plane is kind of wild.
I agree.
Like she only knows Luke. She does not know the other two.
Mm-mm.
Just my take there.
That's extremely important. And we know he has the ability because of, well, but that was written later than this. But
Yeah.
still. We know he's a Force ghost because of episode 6. Plain and simple. Hope restored. Yeah, everyone is all excited. Everybody can jump for joy because once again, the ragtag group of resistance and or rebels have fought off the fascist. Yay. Leia. I don't know. I don't know how you guys felt about Leia's character in this one. I felt they could have used a little more of her influence because I thought we saw some good Rey influence with her in the final film, and maybe I missed it. But did we see any of that kind of motherly stuff in this? Did I miss it? I don't know.
I think there's some, but not as much as they did. But I think we also know that. I mean, she eventually ends up passing, so I don't know if how much of a story Leia could have here.
Yeah.
But I also think the story in here is for Leia is good for a legacy character.
Yeah. Now, I didn't talk much about Leia in this. Do you want to elaborate on that a little? Like what they do with her as opposed to making her freaking Leia Poppins?
Yeah, I mean the Leia Poppins stuff is definitely cringe, but we all know I hate that movie. So, I mean, I don't really know how much there really is to. I don't think. I think Leia is much more involved with Rey's story in the Rise of Palpatine, more than she is in this. I think what I like about this is I like how integral Luke is in continuing Rey's training and training her from beyond and also haunting Kylo at the same time, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And think that psychopath Mark Hamill would have really played that really well. But
yeah.
I mean, I think given the ultimate role that Carrie Fisher would have had to play in this film, I think it would have been nice to see Leia kind of. I don't know what we can what they could add more in this to make, because I know she stops being a Jedi because she has a vision of Kylo dying,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why she does not continue her training. But I think that would have been interesting to her to see her kind of feel the fact that, because clearly she has a connection with him through the Force, not the same as like a dyad, but seeing her seeing her feel how her son is becoming like the main villain, like actually is committing to the dark side. I think that would have been interesting to see in this story, because I don't really think she has a very large part in this story, even compared to Rise of Palpatine.
Yeah, there's a moment in Revenge of the Sith where Yoda, drops his cane and grabs his heart, right? Because he feels what's happening, not just to all the Jedi, he feels what's happening to Anakin. And I believe we touched on that. We see that touched on in the movies, but I think you're right. I think seeing that fleshed out a little bit more would have made Leia just that much more of a relatable character as a mother, as a parent, as a like I. How do you? I know. I always thought it was kind of sucky to have to see all of this from Han and Leia's perspective. Period. With everything that happened that we got, to see your child do those things, be that thing. How do you even have a conversation? I mean, the dude's a freaking psychopath, I mean, Zane going off with his, drumsticks, stabbing people in the throat. Like, how do you even approach him and say,
how
man,
would you do that? How do
can we
you? They're
talk?
not sharp.
And we
Can we
don't
talk about
and
that?
we don't get to really kind of just like see them even talk about that. We just hear him say he has too much Vader in him and all
Yeah.
these things, but we don't ever really get the depth in that, because they kind of just give up on him, much like I guess Luke does in The Last Jedi. They just believe. I mean, clearly there's clearly a different version of how I think JJ gets to Kylo Ren versus how Ryan Johnson got to Kylo Ren, but I think there's a little disconnect there. But I mean, it would have been nice to have seen Han and Leia talk about that, and I think there's room in this script where we could have seen more, even with Carrie Fisher who passed. Leia kind of feel her son becoming the main villain.
Yeah. That's a tough thing to do. Watch those mistakes, especially whenever they're seeing Carrie Fisher play that out would have been magnificent. At the end here, we get Finn and Rose creating. This reminded me of Zoolander, the school for kids who can't read good or whatever. That's what I thought of. But yeah, so they've got. Really, is this some kind of joke? How are the kids supposed to go in such a tiny little school building? This is how we kind of see things. She survives. I guess we didn't even go through that, but it's a movie script. It's long. There's a lot of shit to talk about. But we'll wrap this up. She returns on the horizon, kind of beaten, but she knows her purpose. She's not beaten. I mean, beaten like physically. She looks kind of messed up. Ready to go. She's ready to rock and roll. She knows what her purpose is, and she's going to teach a whole new group of kids, which begins the next chapter of history, which keeps repeating itself. Every time you have Jedi, you end up with more Sith. So, will the world be better off without any of them?
No.
Jedi or Sith, do you think they cause, between the two of them, a lot of unnecessary death? I mean, that seems like a loaded question, but
I think the death's gonna be there regardless. It just depends on what form.
Yeah, because I mean, the First Order isn't made up of force sensitive people. I mean,
no, but was it not a force sensitive individual that was leading behind the shadows of the Empire, or to come to an empire and the First Order?
yes, but I mean, I still think there's a place for an Empire, a First Order, even without force sensitives. In my opinion, because I would say
Yeah.
a large part of the Empire did not know who Palpatine really was. If not, at least 90% of them had just absolutely no idea. You know, they figured Vader was, Vader's an enforcer, but I still argue the Empire is just as intimidating even without Vader, just because of who Palpatine is. But no, I don't think it's the galaxy would be better off without. The galaxy needs Jedi. They need the good side. They need those heroes that stand for something. It's just what's the right form, what of how we think Jedi should act, should be what they believe in.
Who gets to decide that, right? Like the Jedi of that time?
The Force.
The Force. That's an interesting take. This film, I think, if it were done instead, we walked through a couple of the points. It's really good. Like I said, Debbie's awesome, and we'll find that link and give it to her so she can put it in. I could probably do it on my own. I'm just lazy. I gotta love it whenever it's Friday and she's like, "Hey, do we have a poll yet?" Oh yeah, my bad. I'll get that to you. No, this yeah, we don't get a lot of opportunities to see what could have been. We talk about what we would prefer and what we'd have liked to seen and these sorts of things, but getting to peek into the brains of some storytellers telling this story, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I think my overall probably would have been, just without knowing what all happens, 7, maybe a 7. compared to the 5 I gave Rise of Skywalker. So, which
Little
probably
high.
too generous for Cam. So, what would you give it and why, Cam?
This script?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably give it like a 7 too. I mean, I think there's definitely some rework here. I think taking out the Rey and Poe romance makes story flow a
Notice
little
how we
better.
avoided that a little bit.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just good. I think. I think touching up a little bit of the Tor Valum piece would be a little interesting too. I'd love to see how the he lost the Star Wars scene plays out. I read that and just shivered me timbers because I'm like, what is
You're like,
this?
That was stupid as hell. He loves the Star
You said the
Wars.
title.
Who the
Yeah.
fuck wrote that?
This really
Did you
is a
just do
duel
the
of fates.
Leo?
Yeah.
And I would love to see how that actually plays out. But no, I think for me, even if there's no reworks, I think this is probably the most rewatchable of the 3 that I think we would get.
Mm.
I would say probably this, Force Awakens, and I would not watch The Last Jedi even if you paid me $100 to. So
That was pretty terrible.
that was not fun.
7. Debbie, what and why?
I don't know. Maybe a 6 or 7. There were a lot of things I did like. I like the idea of Hux being nastier and not such a buffoon. Luke haunting Kylo on Mustafar, I thought that was pretty cool. And I did like the Poe and Rey thing because it was indicated in the novelization. Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry, I
I
didn't
like
read
that
that.
there was more of the Knights of Ren. I like that.
mhm.
And I really liked the fact that Finn and Rose had a full story
Yeah.
and not just background noise. I didn't like that about Rise of Skywalker. What I didn't like, I didn't like the name of the Ren ship, the Nine Knife or the
Nine,
Knife
nine,
Nine. The
nine,
fuck,
yeah.
what the hell's that?
Oh, there's the one.
I didn't get the whole Chewie and the X-wing. There's
Hmm.
just no possible way. I'm sorry. And Poe's flying the Falcon. No, it's the other way around. Yeah, I didn't like the whole he lost the Star Wars. Fucking stupid. And then and I didn't like the fact that he unalives himself with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I
that
like
was.
that.
Purple
I'm not gonna.
lightsaber.
I'm not gonna lie.
I-
I like that. I like it.
I
I-
hated that. That was stupid.
I like it because of the concept art. Because they have that depicted in the concept art and it looks cool. And I was like, if this is how it happened and Hux does it this way, whining, sniveling little shit.
He lost
Yeah,
to Star Wars, guys.
He lost to Star Wars.
I didn't get his fascination with the lightsaber. Was that supposed to be somebody's lightsaber? Like,
Isn't it? Like Mace
It was
Windu?
red.
It's Mace Windu's lightsaber.
did they
Purple?
mention that? Because they didn't mention it in the comics.
Yeah, it's
They
in the script. He in his story he likes to. It's implied that he's obsessed with learning about the Jedi and the Force, and he begins collecting artifacts, and one of it's Mace Windu's lightsaber.
To my collection. Really? We already
And
got
he-
a guy like that.
And he really wants to be Force sensitive, but he's not.
Mm.
I also think it's confirmed in here too that Finn is not force sensitive. He thinks he is, but it's confirmed that he is not, which
Yeah,
is
that's
Making
a
shit
change.
up for attention.
That's a
kinda
change.
lame.
What? I didn't get that impression at all.
Dude, he uses Form 1, like, without being taught. How does he do that?
Probably just did it.
I just felt like, I don't know. I think he could have been the first student.
In the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, he was.
He was.
Yeah.
I think I saw that with you, like, once.
It was
yeah.
good.
Well,
You wanna know
Zane. Oh wait, did you say 6 or 7? You said 6 or 7. Anything
7.
else on your list, or was that your do's and don'ts? You got them all.
Oh, I didn't like the title of the movie either.
Duel of the Fates.
No,
Agreed.
don't screw with John Williams.
I was about to say it felt kind of cringy
Yeah.
because we
I
already
mean,
have
maybe
Duel of
that was a working title that they were going with, but
Sure.
yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I'm a bitch, so especially when I'm tired.
Did I miss the kiss? Did they kiss Kylo and Rey?
I don't believe so.
I don't
No, she just holds him when he dies
Right,
and,
yeah,
and
okay,
says
that's what I thought.
goodbye, Ben, or something like that. Yeah, there is no kissing in this.
It's like Eponine.
Good. I mean, if anyone's kissing, they should be related in these movies. That's what I think. So
Oh, then
anyway.
you got your movie already then.
Oh, we're ready to rock. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Zane, scale of 1 to 10 and why?
I'm gonna give it a 6.7.
Oh,
I felt long and hard about this.
breaking the mold.
And y'all made some really great points. And what moves it down from a 7? How cringy it is. What's Ray's last name in this?
Oh, we
script?
didn't even really
I didn't
talk
like
about
that
that.
either.
The
Yeah.
name is Solana, which in name terms, it's Spanish origin, and it basically means sunshine. We have Ray of Sunshine.
Better than Ray Palpatine, brother. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but I prefer Ray Palpatine over Ray of Sunshine. I cannot have that be in my Star Wars movie. In the same movie of he lost the Star Wars.
I got a pocket full of sunshine. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I
Now,
didn't care for
They
that.
might have been like they might as
Just
well
leave
have
it at
added.
Ray.
Oh, did you hear about Kylo and Rey? They're having a duel of fates. They might as well add that.
they're having a Star Wars. I'm a
Back-
Star Wars.
Yeah, there's definitely some dumpster fires in this, but
Oh my goodness.
It's not amazing, and I think that we've all pointed that out. There's a lot wrong, but the general direction of this is a lot better than what we got with Rise of
Amen.
Skywalker.
Kudos, Cam, for digging this up because this was like the one show until I go on my cruise that I had no idea what to do with, and this was great.
Shit, man, much more enjoyable than talking about that other dog shit movie that I had to watch.
Last week was a good movie. It was a pretty good movie.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we totally watched it, and then we ended up playing Overwatch while we were streaming.
Played
Oh.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't in Discord. I'd have left.
We lost.
Man, thank you guys. This was fun. I heard of it. I didn't realize the entire script was available. But yeah, go check that out, yo. So, a few minutes left here. Everyone start. Yeah, look at it. We're getting there. I'm almost done with my wine, so we'll be wrapping it up. And this, what is it that was said last show? Longest closing.
yeah,
Ever.
longest wrap up ever.
It took
Because you
15
said it
and a
like
half
5
minutes.
times. Oh, we just gonna wrap this up, and then 20 minutes later, oh, we're gonna wrap this up.
You gotta lock in, Dana.
I wasn't tonight, folks. My bad. I tried very hard. This is one of those like poker face. Like you gotta get up so that you can get out. And there's a thumb through the old Sith Dominion TikTok. There's I don't know what it's called, but there is a video that I do where I'm talking about how hard it is to get up to do shit sometimes. And I don't mean like get up out of bed. That's hard as it is the older you get, anyways. But I mean
I can
like
vouch for that.
showing up, right? Like Debbie's got to show up to work. But if she doesn't like show up, then she could really harm some folks. so it's important that she show up when she's showing up. And so I talk a little bit about that. And I think when we're looking at Star Wars just from our vantage point and our life experiences, it gets to where it's a little frustrating just because I feel like they're not showing up when they show up. I don't feel like, I think Cam, you've alluded to this, that the lack of originality in the content, and even being able to expound on some other content. I'm not blaming one person. I think if you have to blame one person, you have to put that on Kathleen Kennedy. But because that's where the buck should stop. But it's not just one person's fault that it's in state of disarray. I almost was a total douchebag asshole and took some video at Ollie's. Remember our discussion about Ollie's, where that's where action figures go to die, right? So whatever action figures aren't purchased, Ollie's gets them, and then now all these kids are going to get some shitty action figures for Christmas. I cannot tell you how many action figures from Star Wars were characters that nobody gave a crap about, but they have billions of these freaking toys. One of those was one of the Rays. One of those, well, a lot of those, Ahsoka. And now that harms my soul because I love me some Ahsoka. But generally, kids didn't buy the toys, man. No Ahsoka, no Rey. Wakanda Forever, that was terrible. They did that one wrong too, but that's not this show. So it's been very disappointing, I think, overall, and we're going to see, I believe, some changes next year in the you heard it here first, folks. I think there's going to be some changes next year at Lucasfilm / Darth Mouse. We'll see. All right. We'll probably wrap this up a little early tonight so that Debbie doesn't fall asleep in the chair. It is flu season and she is very busy stabbing people with vaccines. Let's be honest. It's not anything that's harmful. Maybe.
It's only banned in other countries, but it's not harmful.
So is Red 40. Okay. Y'all know what Red 40 is made from? I didn't know this.
Bugs.
It's actually made
Poisoning
from a
us.
parasite.
They're poisoning us. Please help.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, they're poisoning us. So what does Trump do? Serve us McDonald's.
They're turning the
Love-
frogs.
Love it. Can we vote for it?
What are they turning the frogs, Zane?
They're turning them into Ray. They're
I don't know
making him
what you
like
guys are
Ray.
doing.
They're making him like Ray.
Ray Solana.
Yeah.
Ray
That's what they're doing with the
Sunshine.
frog. That's what they're doing with the frogs.
Ridiculous.
No further comment.
All right. Next week we got Brian from War of the Stars.
Hmm?
Yes. Brian from War of the Stars is going to be on. I'm trying to get him to talk about his show. Maybe he'll talk about his partnered show, right? Partnered show. And podcast for a bit, but he's more interested in just talking Sithy shit. So we will absolutely do that. We have next week, Brian will be on. It will be the 29th, so a couple days before Halloween. If you guys want to get dressed up, do it. I probably won't.
I will.
Maybe I'll dress up as a podcast host. I don't know. I don't know who laughed, but that was fantastic. That was you, Zane. That was awesome. Shit, where was I? So that's next week. So you guys, make sure you join, check us out. Whether we're in costume or not, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about scariest, kind of fearfulest Sith. Like, is Nihilus scary? Yeah, he could like drain your life force. That's scary. we know is no, she's asleep, Andrew. Debbie is not awake. Was Darth Vader scary? Of course. Like, just his presence, plain and simple, was ominous. So we're gonna just talk about that kind of stuff and have some fun. And then the following week is November 5th. That is actually Election Day here in the United States. So that night, whoever's joining,
We're gonna Pokemon.
we'll be talking about who of the Sith would you vote for today over everybody else we have the opportunity to vote for. Because quite frankly, and I don't give a shit, it's First Amendment, I wouldn't vote for anybody this time if I didn't have to. It's that bad. So
You don't have to either.
yeah, I don't have like I know I don't have to. I feel like I have to. It's my like duty, whatever.
I think
I
it's
said
for
Catch
duty.
22 is what it
go
is.
there and then just. I think there's a thing to vote for none of them.
Hmm.
But
Wouldn't that be
Might as well not vote, brother.
might as well vote for.
I don't know about that. I'll still go libertarian. Pull that libertarian ticket if it was available.
Chase Oliver.
Chase Oliver.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be talking election next week or the week after, but we're not going to be talking about our election. I mean, we might,
no one
but
cares
it'll
about that
be
election.
more. Who
It's
would you
more-
want of all the Sith that you know of or that we've talked about or both? Who would you want to vote for real? Who would you want to vote for? Who would have your vote? And we're going to talk about that on the 5th. And we're having Oaken Saber Armory on for that show. Yeah, we'll have some representation from those guys. I'm going to see if they can show off some of their cool saber shit too. Zane had fun with them. Didn't you, Zane? Oaken Sabers? Yeah. They were trying to, you're like, get me away from here because I'm going to end up dropping 110 bucks. Dad, get me away. I
They
don't
were
want
about to give me a discount, and we had to go. I was like, I'm going to come back and probably get one. And then we went the long way around to avoid them because I couldn't.
Awesome. Debbie, this is not the longest closing ever, but it's a tribute. No, did you get that? Anyone? That joke? Yeah. It's not the greatest song in the world. It's a tribute. Yes, that's right. 9:48. All right, we're good. So I think that's the next 2 weeks, and then we're off for 1 week. So you guys have a I say you guys. Debbie and I have a reprieve in 2 weeks. You guys have had vacations this whole time. We'll be off 1 week, and then we'll be back. So yeah, that's the next 2 weeks. Anybody got anything coming up? Cam, what do you got going on? Anything?
It's work, man. Trying to play more Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero.
This Dragon Ball thing, man, it's becoming an obsession really quickly.
I'm not obsessed enough because I don't have over 10 hours on the game yet.
Oh, yeah. Let's not talk about hours on a game.
Yeah.
Debbie, what do you got going on this week?
We have a new episode of War of the Stars dropping tomorrow, I think.
Nice.
around-ish.
I think it's down here.
Feast of Fandoms, YouTube.
Oh yeah, Feast of Fandoms. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that other
Okay. I mean, okay.
channel.
Whatever, man. Thursday. Oh, we're Cantina Happy Hour is not on for the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
Dave's got football
announcing
week.
stuff. Yeah.
And then next week is Halloween, and he'll be out with his kids. So,
Very cool.
and then Geek Gauntlet on Saturday.
Geek Gauntlet on Saturday. I think I saw William was kicking up his sports the sports report show again, if I'm not mistaken. So let's check that out too. I know that's not a GNN thing, but William's friend's show. So, Zane, what do you got?
This
Any bets?
Friday
I'm Batman.
at Buck's Backyard in Buda, we are playing there from 8 to 9.
Say that 3 times while you've been drinking
Buck's
beer.
Backyard in Buda, Buck's
Drinking
Backyard.
beer at Buck's Beer. What?
Buck's Backyard. We're playing there 8 to 9. If you go to Texas State and you know Kappa Sigma, we're playing there that Saturday.
Is that a
9
private
to
gig?
11. I think it is. But I mean, if you know them, you might be able to get in. Friday morning or afternoon, I think I'm playing at St. Patrick's, whatever that bar is on the square. and I'm playing for KA. But I mean, it's a bar, which means that they'll probably let people come in. So if you want to see, we're playing there from like 1 to 5 with both.
That's just this week.
Yeah, I have 3 this week,
Good for you.
and then I have a wedding the 27th.
Awesome. Make that money because you got new tires on your car right
I
now.
know.
Yeah. Poor
Tired.
Zane. He's like, hey, Dad, just so you know, I got a flat and all my tires are like dead. All
Yeah.
5 of them. I said, your car only has 4 tires, Zane. He said, well, there's a spare. Oh, yeah? He said the spare's probably 20 years old.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
yeah,
spare
let's
came with my
5.
car, and then my youngest tire was like 10 years old.
Mm. Unbelievable.
Hey,
And I had just gotten back from discount that day.
wait,
Or no, I was at discount that day. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway. Folks, thank you for the show. It was great. For real wrap up, Debbie's like, I don't believe you. But no, for real. We're gonna wrap up a little early. I want to apologize about the frequency in which the older shows are getting out to the podcast world. I am limited on how much I can upload because I like the show and I like y'all, but I'm not sporting more money out of my pocket. So you can write it off. Yeah, no, but whatever. So those will still be trickling out, but the other ones, these shows that we're talking on right now will still be going live the next day or 2 after. Man, that's it. You know about what we did, you know about what we will be talking about, and you know what they're all going to be doing the rest of the week. So tune into our friends over at Feast of Fandom. Go check this out, man. Duel of the Fates is a really cool script.
yes.
And also, remember, kids, peace is a lie. There is only passion. I lost my mouse. Good night.